Have you ever wondered how tennis stories come to life? Hi, my name is Skylar, and I'm the social media and marketing intern for Recyclables. And I'm rallying with Joe today, who is a contributing editor for Racket Sports Industry magazine and a ball coordinator at Lincoln Park Tennis Association in Chicago. Joe, I know you are a longtime volunteer and you've been engaged with Recyclables for years. Erin thinks the world of you, and she was very excited about me doing this interview with you. You have a very unique blend of sustainability and tennis, and I know you volunteered to bring this to your community. So, can you talk more about what made you get involved?
Yeah. Um, well, thanks a lot, Skylar. It's good to be here. I really appreciate it. And I think the world of recycled balls as well. Been involved with you folks for several years, and I guess I kind of got involved in recycling of tennis balls probably about 5, 6, 7 years ago when I was a high school tennis coach, and we were using a public uh, facility as our home courts. And one day I walked out back to throw something away in the dumpster, and it was just jam packed, filled with old tennis balls, just sitting in either loose or in boxes. And I thought something's got to change. So I found out about recycled balls, which had been in, I guess, business for a few years, and got started with them, recycling at least our balls that we were using with our team, and then trying to engage others to recycle balls as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, I when I played in high school, we also played at like local courts, not like high school courts. So, I'm sure that was also very big at the park I played. But that's really awesome that that's how you got involved. Can you talk? Can you tell us a little bit more about like your career and your background?
Sure. Yeah, well, just from a tennis perspective, I've been playing tennis since I was a kid. And I wasn't actually on the high school team, but I did play while I was in high school. I wasn't on the college team, but I did play while I was in college, and then just continued to play throughout my life. So it's been, several decades now that I've just been on the court, enjoying the socialization and the athleticism
Yeah.
and the mental gains that you get from playing tennis. On the career side, I started out as a journalist. I went to journalism school at the University of Texas and became a newspaper reporter and a little bit of an editor as well. And then, like a lot of people, I segued into corporate public relations, and I worked for the better part of about 25 to 30 years in the defense and aerospace industry. And about 8 years ago, I retired from the Boeing company and then continued to do writing, as you mentioned, for Racket Sports Industry magazine and some other places, and um, and also a little bit of marketing help with the USTA Chicago district over the years. So kind of kept my hand in both the communication side of things as well as the racket sports.
Wow, you've had such an amazing like career and journey.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm studying journalism too actually, but more like advertising and marketing based, but I did take a journalism class and I really loved it. But
Well, I
yeah,
think
that's
that's a wise choice these days
yeah.
because you know what's happening to the journalism industry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm hopefully I can take another class soon, but yeah, cuz I really like that one. But that's such a cool story. So, what first sparked your interest in communications and storytelling?
Well, I started out in high school actually on the student newspaper, and that's kind of where I got sort of the journalism bug, and it stayed with me and continued that as I mentioned in college, journalism school. Then I went to graduate school for communications, public affairs communications, and then got into first journalism and then communications. So it's been a part of my life since I was a young person.
That's so cool to hear that like your whole life you've like really just had this passion. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's amazing. So is that how like tennis in high school and then your storytelling, is that kind of what drew you to just stay in the racket sports industry?
Well, I guess so. I mean, I really like to focus on the inner game a little bit, and looking for those stories that are maybe not as prevalent that people might see or think about, and kind of look for some of the um, some of the quirky things that happen in the sport, and maybe some of the things that kind of are off the radar. I recently did a story, I think it was last year, about squash. And if you're a person of a certain age like me, you remember squash from your college days because, back in the day, people played a lot of racquetball and they played a lot of squash. And it's sort of, those sports have sort of fallen by the wayside a bit. And but I found out that that squash is actually sort of in a little renaissance right now.
Oh,
And
that's so cool.
went and talked to the executive director of USA Squash, and talked about the new facility that they built in Philadelphia a few years back. And it was just kind of a neat little story of a sport that maybe people sort of forgot about.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. I played racquetball in my like PE class at last semester or last year in college, and it was cool. It was like interesting, like playing another racket sport besides tennis. But I will say racquetball is a little scary, and I was scared of the ball because it's really hard. So I'm not sure if I would play it again, but it was really cool, like that doing that for the first time and like having that experience. Um, so speaking of stuff that's a little bit off the radar, so can you talk about kind of like your focus on racket sports and sustainability?
Yeah, I'd love to. I think, for me, it's all about what can we do for the planet. In addition to the two things that we've talked about, Skylar, so far that I've been doing, one of the other things I've focused on over the last 6 to 7 years is climate change policy. And in fact, I work with Citizens Climate Lobby, and we work month in and month out, reaching our elected representatives in Congress to develop and pass clean energy solutions, and
Wow.
trying to get us turned off of fossil fuels, which, as we know, contribute to the warming of the planet.
Yeah.
And so I see, sustainability from a number of different uh, perspectives, and having the ability to work on the sustainability of the sport that I love, that you mentioned that I'm very passionate about and have been for a long time, is a nice way of extending my interest in sustainability, in clean energy, in a better planet for not just us today, but for the future. For my son and for the next generation after that.
I agree. Yeah. So I'm gonna go back a little bit to more about journalism, but how has storytelling and the media changed throughout your career?
Oh boy. Let me count the ways. Well, I think, the fact that we're doing this podcast right now is one instance of
Yeah.
what changed in
Yeah.
storytelling. We didn't have podcasts, back in the day. We didn't have Instagram. We didn't have TikTok. We didn't
Yeah.
have a lot of the online tools that we use today to tell stories and to comment on stories. We didn't have, 20, 30 years ago. Um, so I think the channels, the media has changed quite a bit. But I think one thing remains the same, and that is, if you can tell a really detailed, compelling story, people will listen. And that really transcends the medium that you're using.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think a lot of people like receive their news now through like Instagram and TikTok. I mean, I can say that I'm one of those people, which I probably isn't the best thing, but it's just like you're not really looking for it, but it shows up anyway, and then you kind of get drawn in, and then you keep reading, and then you keep going, and then now you know everything, but like you weren't exactly looking for it. So I feel like it has like good things and bad things. Like it's good because you run into it even though you weren't looking for it, but bad because you like TikTok, it's like shorter. You're not necessarily getting the full story, but it's still like just cool like seeing like this development of the media through like social media.
I think that's also another instance of the difference that you touched on, Skylar, and that is the length of stories. You know,
Yeah.
you have shorter pieces right now that are very almost snippets of the
Hmm.
news. They're
Yeah.
not very deep as they used to be. So this long form journalism that I grew up on, it's very hard to find that nowadays. Everything is in little nuggets, bite-sized nuggets that you can consume very quickly and very easily and move on to the next one.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. That's how like I see it on TikTok. It's like one like small paragraph and then you keep scrolling, but you're not getting the full story.
Exactly.
But yep. Okay, so I'm gonna dive into like a few like career questions. So, what opportunities do you see for growing participation in racket sports?
I think there's lots of opportunities to participate in racket sports. I mean, you're probably familiar with the Red Ball program that they have right now, which is for beginners with small or different colored balls on smaller courts. Live ball has really taken off for energy. You've also this new thing that Steve Bellamy, the Tennis Channel guru, has come up with something called Tipty, which is a real fun game that's really getting a lot of attention right now. Plus, there's padel, there's platform tennis. I mean, there's so many ways that that people are getting into racket sports in communities all across the country. Not just here in Chicago or maybe where you are in North Carolina, but really everywhere, um, getting into different kinds of sports. So I see a very clear path to getting to the USTA's 35 million participants by 2035, which is, you know, one of their key goals right now.
Yeah, actually, I haven't heard of. You said live ball. Is that
Yes,
like tennis, or is that like using a different type of like ball?
it's tennis. Yeah, it's on a tennis court
Oh,
with
okay.
tennis balls, and it's usually run by one or two coaches, and they put you through all kinds of motions. They set up, you know, doubles situations, and there's lots of teamwork, and there's lots of running around, and it's just a lot of you get 90 minutes of that is a workout.
Oh, okay. So like it like never stops. So you kind of like rotate and you keep playing.
Indeed.
Oh, okay, okay. I played that. I did it in high school for practices. We would call it like king of the court or queen of the court, and we would
Yeah,
like rotate around. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, here in Chicago, we sometimes call that Chicago three ball because you know each team has three balls that they get a chance to hit before they get wiped
Oh.
out.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. We would
Lots
kind
of
of do
different
different
names.
variations too.
Yeah,
What was you also mentioned? Red ball. Is that also another like tennis
yeah,
form
that's
of
tennis, and
game?
that's actually that's played on a smaller court, about the size of a pickleball court,
Okay.
with softer balls and smaller rackets, and it's a nice way for people who aren't familiar with tennis to sort of get into it.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. I know. I know down here, or at least like a lot of the college kids, pickleball is really really big right now, and it's growing a lot. And I used to not be a super. I was kind of a hater of pickleball because I was like, because they were taking over the tennis courts at school, and I was always like underestimating the ball. But now that I've played it a little bit, actually, like I enjoy it. But yeah, it's really growing.
Pickleball
Oh,
is the fastest growing sport in the nation right now. No
really?
question about it. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, but yeah, I feel like it kind of like just happened like overnight, and then everyone was talking about it, and everyone was playing, and everyone has a pickleball racket. But yeah. So, what do you think, or how do you think that tennis has such a strong connection to the community?
I think one of the reasons is that it's such an engaging and social sport. You know, the thing about tennis is that, we always talk about the fact that it will add 10 years to your life if you play it consistently. We talk about the mental benefits. The social benefits, though, really extend beyond the court because you'll find that people that you play tennis with on a regular basis, you wind up, getting invited to their kids' weddings. You're having dinner with them on Saturday night. You're going to the bar mitzvah. It's like these become lifelong friends that you do. You go on vacation with them, and they're
Yeah.
not tennis vacations; it's just regular vacations,
Yeah.
and it's that's socialization and that community that you get with tennis. I don't know that you can repeat that, many places.
Yeah, I agree. I like your point about like the socialization because I feel like maybe people that don't know tennis that well don't see it that way because it's not the same as like soccer or like hockey where you're like on a team with a lot of people, but like it really is a social sport and like a lot about communicating with like your doubles partner compared to like communicating with like five other people on the court. So it's definitely harder and a lot more communicating than like someone than like people outside the tennis world would expect. But yeah. Yeah. Why do you believe sustainability is becoming more important within sports?
Well, if you look at corporations, cities, sustainability is a key metric. It's how these organizations really measure themselves, and that's also true in racket sports, and maybe not just racket sports, but all sports. Is that they're going to be evaluated on how well they operate and how well they are able to provide an environment that people can feel good about because they aren't as wasteful as maybe they might have been in the past.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Sustainability is like the like big thing right now for like a lot of companies and just people are like getting really involved in trying to be sustainable and better about the environment. So,
Yeah, and think about this, Skylar. Like when you get on a bus um, in your town and you find out that it's an electric bus, right away you feel really good. You go, "Wow, this is
yeah.
great." I'm on this bus, but we're not contributing to
Yeah.
greenhouse gas emissions right now, you know, and
Yeah,
it
I
just
think that's
makes you
like
feel good. Yeah.
yeah, I agree. I think that's like the big thing right now with like electric vehicles or like hybrid vehicles. Like half electricity, half gas. You're it's better for the environment and you're saving money, so it's kind of like a win-win. But yeah. So back to your storytelling and journalism, how can storytelling help inspire people to adopt more sustainable habits?
Well, I think that's where um, people can see themselves more clearly when they hear of something that seems a lot like what they do. So the idea being that if I tell a story about somebody who's doing a really good job with recycling tennis balls, for example, at their club, they might think about that. Okay, so that's maybe aspirational, but I'm also seeing it in an operational way. And maybe I'm a lot like that person. And maybe my club's a lot like that club. So that might be an easy thing for us to do. So you sort of see yourself in the story that you heard about the activity that maybe you want to get involved in.
Yeah, being able to like relate like really like helps a lot. Yeah, I agree. So, a little bit backing off that question, why is it important for organizations to communicate not only what they do, but why they do it?
Well, when I think about the why, I always go back to when I was in the Air Force, and they always said that if you tell an airman why, the how comes easy or easier, and I think that's true in lots of walks of life. If you know why you're doing something and what the end result is going to be, uh, you're much more likely to want to do it and understand how to do it because you know what the outcome is going to be. So that sort of like resonates with me quite a bit.
Yeah, I agree. That's really cool. Yeah. So going into a little bit about recyclables, what first interested you in recyclables and their mission?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but as I said, when I was coaching high school tennis, we were at an outside facility, which was our home courts, and I went to throw something away one afternoon, and I opened the lid of the dumpster, and it was just filled with loose and boxes of old balls, and I thought there's got to be a better way. So I did some research and I found recycled balls, and then we made it a point that if not the facility, at least all the balls that we were using every season were going to get recycled when the season was over, and that's what we did.
Yeah, I love hearing everyone's stories about how they got involved with recyclables. It's super cool.
Yeah.
And why do you think like these initiatives like recyclables are important for the future of the tennis industry?
Well, as we were saying earlier, Skylar, I think that people want to feel good about what they're doing, and I think that people can feel good about the facility that they're involved in because they know that they're utilizing resources well. The whole idea of recycle, reuse, repurpose. People are really interested in that, and I think they'll feel much better about the tennis club, the gym that they go to, if they know that the people who are operating it are paying attention to those little things, like not not just having one-time use of different
Yeah,
resources, and that they're really paying attention to that. So I think people feel good about that.
I agree. I think people feel better about the sport they play and like proud to be associated with an organization that is more sustainable and helps the environment. So I definitely agree. So, a few bonus questions. I know you are a longtime volunteer. Can you talk more about your volunteer efforts in your community?
Sure. I mean, my volunteering goes back probably, I don't know, 25, 30 years. I was the president of our neighborhood association for several years when we lived in Virginia. And more recently, as I mentioned, I've been a volunteer with the Citizens Climate Lobby since 2018, focusing on um, reducing carbon emissions and clean energy support. And then I also volunteered at a resale shop that was run by a local hospital that serves the underserved communities in Chicago. And they recently asked me to be on their board. So that was
Oh,
pretty interesting too. And yeah, pretty cool. and
that's awesome.
yeah, and then I've worked with LPT. I've been a member there for probably 14, 15 years now, and I was on their board for one term, and then of course continued to volunteer my time to do the recycling program, and I also run one of the tournaments and other things that pop up from time to time. So I get out there in the community and do as much as I possibly can, time permitting, to give
Yeah,
back.
that's awesome. Yeah, wow, you've done so much volunteering for your community. That's amazing. Yeah. So what are you most excited about in the future of sustainable sports?
I just think the activity level, the engagement level that you get from people. One of the things that happens to me all the time at my club, Skylar, is that people who I don't really know very well will come up to me if I'm coming off the courts or maybe going on the courts or waiting to get on the court, and they'll just say, "Joe, we're so glad that you're doing the ball recycling program. That's really, really important." And it's just like people coming up to me out of the blue talking about that. And that gives me a lot of hope because then I know that there are a lot of people out there who are really interested in this thing, but then maybe they don't know exactly how to get involved.
Yeah.
And so, going back to the storytelling, we're not only talking about it, but we're showing how it can be done.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, I definitely agree. think a lot of people know about things, but like you said, they don't know how to get involved, so it's harder for them. But yeah, yeah. Okay, so a little bit more about Recyclables. So Recyclables is celebrating their 10-year anniversary this year. Where would you like us to be in another 10 years?
I want you to have satellite production facilities all over the country. Okay, nearby, um, which maybe in the future. But I
Yeah,
think the other thing I would say, keep doing what you're doing. The millions and millions and millions and millions of balls that you're recycling
yeah,
is really important. Um, and I know that Recycle Balls is working on this, and I'd just like to, and maybe I can help. I don't know. Um, can we get the material that you generate into other industries, particularly in the building
yeah,
industries? You know, one of the big issues in this country is affordable housing and trying to develop more housing stock at a lower cost for people to be able to get into their own homes. If there's a way that we can use recycled ball material in the building trades and a little bit more in the building trades, that might have an impact on helping to reduce the affordable housing crisis.
yeah. I actually never thought about being able to do that with with tennis balls or yeah with rubber. But that's really yeah that's such a good point. And then everything that Recyclables is doing is just amazing. The like arena footing for equestrian facilities, I
Yeah,
never would have thought of that. And I used to do horseback riding when I was little, and when Aaron like brought this up in my class, I was just like, wow, like I never would have thought that you could do that. But that's really really
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and of course, the agreement that they signed a couple of years ago with Leichold, the court builder, is really, really
Yes.
key. Using the material as a, foundational uh, layer, and then also the top layers, uh,
Yeah.
and of course the color coats and all that. I mean, that's fantastic to know. And I always tell people this at my club. I say, they go, "Where does all that rubber go?" I said, "Well, it goes right back into the courts." You know,
Yeah.
so you're using tennis balls that you play on the court to
For
develop
the court.
material that is being used to build new courts.
Yeah, I know. That's so cool. That's amazing that
It's a
you're able
win-win.
to
It's
do that.
circular. It's a circular economy,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, I was about to say that. Yeah. That's yeah, it's amazing. I love like being part of this recyclables like journey. It's so cool seeing all these
Yeah,
things
yeah.
that they're able to do with tennis balls. But okay, one last fun closing question. I know you are a very big tennis fan, and with Wimbledon going on right now, who are you rooting for?
Well, there are so many people I could root for. I will just say this: on the women's side, obviously a lot of people were excited to see Serena Williams get back on the singles court.
Yes.
We saw
Yes.
her on the doubles court in some of the other leading tournaments leading into Wimbledon, and unfortunately, she didn't make it past the first round, but it was a lot of excitement there. But one of the people who I'm really focusing on right now is Jessica Pegula, because I think Jessica Pegula is ready to finally win her first Grand Slam tennis tournament. And this might be it. I think she is the number 3 or 4 seed right now. And
Wow.
she won Charleston, back a few months back, and she did really well in the Berlin. I think she was in the final in Berlin. So I think this might be her time. So that's going to be really cool. On
Yeah.
the men's side, Djokovic is going for his
Yep.
25th
Yeah.
major. If he will be the all-time major champion, both men and women. Right now, he's tied with Margaret Court, and Serena is one one major win below them at
Okay.
2023. But
Cool.
yeah, it could be the 25th for him. So I think there are a lot of eyes focused on his game and whether or not he can go the distance at his age.
Yeah. I need to. I haven't watched a lot of Wimbledon. I need to start watching it and keep up a little bit more. I've been focused on the World Cup going on, so I haven't watched too much. But I definitely need to get more into it.
Well, here's something I'll put in your head if you want a sort of a memory device. Think this: breakfast at Wimbledon, because it's on early in the morning our
Oh
time.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, because
So
they're
when
like six,
so
7 hours ahead,
they're six
right?
hours ahead of you and 7 hours ahead of me. So
Oh
think
yeah,
get up, have your orange juice, your
yeah,
scrambled egg or whatever, and sit in front of the TV and watch a little bit of tennis.
yeah. I'll try to do that tomorrow. Or
It's
do they
easy.
play like every single day?
They do every single day.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I'll definitely try to do that tomorrow morning. But yeah, yeah. Thank you
Good.
so much, Joe. Thank you so much for doing this interview. You absolutely aced this conversation, and thank you so much for being a part of the Recyclables mission and journey. You have done so much for your community and for Recyclables, and it's just amazing.
Well, thank you, Skylar. It's been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed talking to you. And as I said earlier, I think the world of what you folks are doing under Erin's leadership has just been fantastic.
Yeah, Erin's the best, so I'm glad that I was able to connect with her and do this internship with Recyclables. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, good.
thank you so
Okay.
much.
You're welcome. Okay. Bye.